It's Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder. Now, 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning on Minnesota's 92 KQRS alongside Fletcher.
Hey, it's Monday.
It is, and Ryder.
This is crazy!
I like it.
I still haven't tracked her down.
It's just a matter of time.
I know.
Man.
You know, I say it every year, but man, summer went by in a flash, didn't it?
Yeah.
What in the hell are we living through? It is Monday, May the 19th. I am wearing a jacket, and I'm feeling Minnesota. It's time for the headlines, Paul Fletcher.
Indeed. The Stillwater prison in Minnesota is... Why does it say that? In Minnesota. We already know where it is. It's closing due to unsafe and crumbling infrastructure, as well as high operational costs. The inmates will be transferred to other facilities for men across the state, and transfer will be a phased process over 4 years with the goal of a full closure by June 30th, 2029. Along with the reasons listed above, the closure is also a part of a budget agreement and is aimed at saving the state money in consolidating prison facilities.
Well, that certainly checks out. That's normally what states try to do.
Yeah, that's all we do is try to save money today.
It.
Yep. I hate to start the day so snarky, but it's just true. An investigation is underway on what caused a Mexican Navy ship to crash into New York City's Brooklyn Bridge Saturday, killing 2 sailors and injuring at least 19 others, 2 of them critically. Man, you watch the footage, it is just kind of hard to believe that people died. You know what I mean? It didn't look that violent, you know?
Well, they were hanging way up high, and they run into that. They could have fallen into the water. I still haven't heard how they died, but all I know is that is when I first saw it, like everybody, I probably went, what the hell happened? And then with repeated viewings from other angles, it's just awful.
It is
because it's just
awful.
that slow moving. It's like a dream, you know. It's like so slow, and clearly the boat had a problem.
Yeah.
It wasn't operational. Something's going wrong, and the tugboat speeding around trying to catch it.
Yep.
The whole thing. It's just like it's a slow roiling nightmare. It's awful.
Here are witnesses to the crash and NYPD Chief of Special Operations Wilson Amarbulis, I think is how you say it.
We saw clearly that the mast was too high, and we saw people unfortunately dangling. There were people on the mast, there were people all standing on the mast. They were holding lights. Obviously, when the mast got hit, there were people dangling, and I think at least 1 or 2 people we saw fall down.
The captain that was maneuvering the ship lost, power of the ship, and the current mechanical function caused the ship to go right into the pillar of the bridge, hitting the mast of the ship where there was a couple of sailors on top of it. These sailors were injured as a result of the mast striking the bridge.
It like you said, it's sad. The ship named the Cuauhtemoc is a 160-foot tall vessel that was supposed to take recently graduated Mexican cadets on an annual worldwide tour.
Yep.
They were heading to Iceland, and
it's
it obviously went a very different way.
Yeah.
No one on the bridge was harmed. It's worth pointing that out, I guess, and doesn't look like there was any serious structural damage.
Ken Burns' documentary on the Brooklyn Bridge, absolutely worth a watch.
Yeah?
Phenomenal. It'll change your opinion of how things are made and how cool Americans were in the 19th century.
All right.
Yeah.
Good to
Amazing.
know. Zach Starkey, son of Ringo Starr, says he's been fired from The Who again for the second time in 3 weeks. I feel like we just talked about this, and we did.
Yeah.
Last month, Starkey said he'd been fired only for Pete Townsend to step in and say he was still with the band. But over the weekend, Townsend said in another statement that Starkey would be leaving and Scott DeVowers would take over the drumming duties. Do you think this is this a clunky way of just getting attention? Like this?
No. This is just back crap crazy 80-year-olds not knowing what the hell they're doing. Happy birthday, 80 years old today, Pete Townsend.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Well, Starkey had a different take.
It's embarrassing. After all that you've done, you went ahead and replaced Keith Moon, which I've questioned for 47 years, and then now this at the end of your run. It's ridiculous.
So weird.
It's awful. I mean, seriously, guys, get it together.
I've used this analogy for a lot of things, but it's like. The plane is at 35,000 feet. The beverage service is out. The flight is smooth. Put your feet up and enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Can't do it, apparently.
If you were going to do it, you should have done it 3 weeks ago. Going back in, this round 2 is just really bizarre.
Yeah, that's why I was questioning. It's just, I don't know who's running the inmates or running the asylum. I don't know what the hell's going on, but it's nuts over there. Registration now open for a clothing-optional 5K race in South Carolina called the Buck Creek Streak.
Okay.
The race will be held on June 14th, so you still got time to book a flight and get down there if you are into this kind of a thing. It's being organized by the Carolina Foothills Resort, which is a nudist resort in Spartanburg County. Participants can run either a 5K or a 7.3K. Is that how you say it? A 7.3K? That's an odd thing, but whatever. And you can have your...
You're naked. It's already odd, man.
Yeah.
And you can have your... That's what I was just going to say. You can have your parsible dangling if you want.
Public nudity in South Carolina rarely mentioned in the same sentence.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, they don't get naked. It's nice and toasty warm.
They're pretty restricted down there.
They have a place called Hilton Head. How are you not getting naked?
Nah. Well, publicly, openly, I'm saying.
Yeah.
No shortage of nudity in Hilton Head, but it's behind closed doors.
The participants are encouraged to protect themselves from chafing, though.
Well, sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's important. Definitely maybe rub a little something here and there just to stay safe. Registration also includes a free lunch and a day pass to the resort.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So, you don't have to be naked. So if you maybe you're just a voyeur and you want to...
Don't be the weirdo in your clothes during the buck naked 5K.
No, I mean, I get it if you wear shoes, but anything else, you're phoning it in. It's ridiculous.
I mean, maybe you're just a voyeur. Maybe you don't want to show, but you want to watch.
Nah, it's weird. It's creepy.
All
or nothing.
Creepy, huh?
All or nothing is the way I see it.
That's where we draw the line on creepy. Got it.
The Minnesota Twins have been playing some pretty good baseball the last few weeks. And in fact, yesterday in Milwaukee, the streak ended 13 in a row.
Not bad.
My goodness.
Yeah.
That is one hellacious run. This team was 13-20 a couple weeks ago. They are 26-21. After yesterday's loss to the Brewers, Rocco Baldelli spoke to the team and he said, "Guys, it's been an amazing run, a great run of baseball, one of the best 2-week spans of baseball I've ever been a part of in my life. A lot of work still to be done, and I think we're just scratching the surface of what we're capable of throughout this season. Let's hope so."
I know. I'm trying to figure out what their secret rally sausage was this time.
I think it was no rally sausage. After last year, they realized, let's not have a decrepit piece of meat dangling around the dugout.
Hey, 13-game winning streak, by the way. I think it's the second longest they've ever had. 15 is... Did you just say that? Sorry, I was looking this. You didn't? Okay. No. 1991 was the last time they did it. 15 games was the streak there.
They did okay that year.
Yeah, they did. It was a pretty good, solid run that year.
We were talking about the Vikings schedule at the end of last week. A little bit more information that's pretty mind-boggling if you think about it. 7 nationally televised games, 4 are night games, and also a Christmas Day game. Opening game against the Bears, that's Monday Night Football. They follow that up with Sunday Night Football in Week 2. Weeks 4 and 5, both nationally televised games from Europe, Dublin and London. Mm-hmm. Week 7, they are the noon Fox game against hosting the Eagles. Then they go 3 days later to L.A. for a Thursday night game against the Chargers. Mm-hmm. Week 15, December the 14th, the big game, Sunday night going to Dallas. And then finally Christmas Day against the Lions. Man, J.J. McCarthy, welcome to the spotlight. Only the Chiefs are on national television more this year than the Vikings. How about that?
I mean, what if this poor kid flubs? Everybody's going to see him.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Also, I got to stay up real late for these night games, Vikings. Come on. It's like they're trying to make it up with the 2 early kickoffs.
They're doing their best. They're trying to make it easy on all of us. The Timberwolves will be in Oklahoma City tomorrow night at 7:30. The Western Conference Final kicks off. These are the 2 best teams in the West so far. These are the 2 best teams remaining. The Pacers are sneaky good. I'm not going to overlook them. I'm not worried about the Knicks. This is going to be a defensive effort from both teams. Oklahoma City's defense right now is as good as any element of any part of basketball. They are a defensive octopus, and it's a little scary. I'll say this. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, all of the starters have to bring their A game every game. OKC is as athletic and deeper. It's a better team. I'm not saying we can't win the series, but OKC is favored, and that does check out, especially with home court advantage.
Any chance you're going to name your new band Defensive Octopus?
Yes, thank you. I got to write that down. That's not bad at all. Wow. All right.
I'm wondering, last year, the Wolves got to where they're at.
Yeah.
And they kind of they looked immature, and
they hit a wall. They were done.
Any chance that happens to OKC, being younger and not having the experience? No.
They're really well coached. They're really, really deep and long. And it starts with the defense. They're not going to be tired. They're the best team in the league from the jump. They ran the table wire to wire. So
fair enough.
I would say right now, I think OKC, you got to think they're going to win the series. I'm hopeful that's not the case. If Minnesota wins it, please win it in 6. Don't go back to OKC for Game 7. Oak Grove, Minnesota, good morning.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Oak Grove, lay it on me.
Yeah, right up there by Elk River. And Now Then. Remember Now Then? Yeah.
Very clearly.
Good old Now Then.
We love Now Then. Mm-hmm. All right, it's Monday, and as promised, we've got some results to share with you. How about KQ's bestest? The tabulations are in. We've done the math, and we're going to tell you all of the bestest in the Twin Cities.
It's Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder, 92 KQRS.
Over the last few weeks, we've been rocking the old 92 KQRS bestest poll. Our friends at JTR Roofing were helping us greatly with that. Thank you, guys. The bestest categories, you had tons of them. You had a lot. We had so many votes. So many folks got in there and voted multiple times, which we appreciate. 48 entire categories, and we've got the results. I'm just going to get right to it. At the very top, bestest burger, the King's Place Bar and Grill.
We looked this up last week.
It looked pretty darn good.
They did look good. I mean, I think we're both a little surprised because you and I both agreed on Parlor is the best burger in the state, but...
Well, I've not been to King's Place. I am certainly willing to try.
Yeah, 100%.
People got real fired up about this one as soon as we said, hey, what is the best burger?
Yeah.
It was like, it's like right, I didn't even know where it was. It's right near Hastings.
Okay.
And it was like that whole quadrant of the state started lighting up the text messages.
I like the bestest fries. Matt's Bar coming through with the best fries. And by the way, those are really good fries.
Yeah, I think that was a sleeper pick because usually I think they won last year for, of course, Best Juicy Lucy, the OG.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like Bull's Horn is in there due to you swayed them in because that's one of your spots, isn't it, Bull's Horn?
Yeah. What do you mean I swayed them in? They're legit.
No, I know. I was.
It's good food.
Yeah,
it's like some fancy pants chef who didn't want to do the fancy food anymore, so he bought this decrepit bar, the Sunshine Inn, and made it cool.
I think what Fletcher was saying was you waved the flag, and that got a lot of people's attention, and you weren't sweat. You weren't we're not saying you goosed the numbers.
I didn't put my thumb on the scale for them or anything.
I was saying that maybe you were the reason it got a nomination. I guess what I'm getting at.
No, I mean it's a popular joint. I'm not the only person that digs it.
Yeah,
bestest omelet, Keys Cafe, which I did put my thumb on the scale on that one.
I think that one was a runaway too.
I was all over that everything omelet, as I have been for over 30 years. Best sandwich shop, Nelson's Cheese and Deli. By the way, we talked about it last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago. I'd never been. I have since gone twice.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic. Yes. I heartily endorse that.
Nice.
Pick. Yeah,
I like that.
That's back-to-back wins for Nelson.
So we had bestest wings, Serum and 5'8" tied, huh?
Wow.
Like a literal tie, the exact same number of votes.
That's crazy.
And that's a lot of votes,
but
too.
that's a hell of a comeback because wasn't Serum's in second?
Serum's was behind for a little bit there, and I know they're the perennial favorite.
That's because their wings are unbelievable.
Well, that's what I hear. We're going to give you a few more of these throughout the show. The full list will be posted at 8 a.m. on 92KQRS. .com. Oftentimes, when you're watching a movie, you see somebody do something and you go, man, that's amazing. And then you go, I'm going to have to just pretend that could actually happen in real life. Because so many things, from the big to the mundane, things that never, ever, ever happen in real life. What bugs you when you're watching a movie?
I got one.
What pulls you right out of the vibe? 651-989-ROCK. Text us. What is it when you see it happen, you're like, oh, come on. Really? That would never happen in real life.
92 KQRS.
Stuff that you see in the movies all the time where you go, that would never happen in real life.
Yeah.
That would never happen in real life. Just about every breakup scene I've ever watched in a movie.
Why every breakup scene?
Because they always have the conversation, and then they're all. It usually resolves itself within about 90 seconds. It's just like, and then it just fades to black, and then you move on with it. It's like, well, no, that's not how that ended. They talked a little bit longer, like 3 more hours.
Yeah.
But
gotta transfer some stuff.
Yeah, but there's a whole lot of follow up. 651-989-ROCK. What is the thing that happens though that pulls you right out of the mood? And there's one always, and I love the Jason Bourne movies, for example. Just think they're all great. I've had one, honest to God, that I know of concussion in my life.
Okay.
And I went out for about a half a second. Total. I mean, I came back groggy. I was not going to get up and this is when I was like 20. I was like young, very athletic, healthy young guy.
Virile.
I was not about to jump up and keep fighting.
Right.
Like when you get your clock, when you get your bell rung and you see stars and you honestly go out for a full second or two, much less 5, you don't get up and keep going. I can speak from experience.
That's fair.
I always blows my mind watching, like, and again, I love the movie, but I'm like, come on, I'm sorry. You just got punched in the face 6 times by a guy who's a trained assassin. You're not going to keep fighting back.
Not even if you're Jason Bourne or Tom Cruise or any of that stuff.
It's just not that many headshots. I don't care how tough you are. You don't build muscles on your skull.
Maybe. I mean, they're at least trained to deal with it and be able to. I've got one that's like super mundane, but it happens in TV shows, movies, everything. They never shut the freaking door. You'll go in, they walk in the front door and just leave it open. You know
really?
what I mean? You've never noticed that?
Oh, for sure.
Oh my God! You just walk in and they never. I'm like, what about the door?
Yeah, nobody
Drives me
screams
insane.
about, oh, you guys want to air condition the entire outside? Like my dad used to hit us up with.
Sure. The dad's like, I'm not paying to air condition. Yeah, air condition the outside. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well, that does bring to mind another one. Speaking of air conditioning, the number of people climbing through the air conditioning ducts, like in the ceilings, without ever being, somehow that's always a surefire way to get away with something.
Right.
It's like there's no room. They can't possibly hold you when you weigh 200 pounds. And then secondly, they're loud and clunky, and it just always seems to be. It always seems to work in the movies. I just don't imagine anybody could get away with that in real life.
I mean, John McClane in Die Hard, I think that one's realistic, because that HVAC probably wasn't working yet. And he was in a relatively isolated area.
It's not an open. He's on floors that aren't open yet. I'm saying
he's John McClane.
Well, that's very true.
Yeah.
I would love to watch a movie where at any time where someone's driving somewhere and for 9 minutes they have to look for a parking space. Come on!
You really want to watch
barely
that?
missed it. Yeah. There's a movie with Tom Hardy where the entire film is him in the driver's seat of a car on Bluetooth, just taking phone calls. I can't.
Really?
It's his character's last name. The movie's called just like Smith, but it's not Smith. And I watched that movie on a plane, and it sounds really boring, and it's anything but.
Lock. Lockke, in case you want to.
Yeah, it was like, it's a great movie on a plane. I don't know how long you'd last at home if you had options. But, if you see it on a plane. Minnesota's 92 KQRS. We're talking about unrealistic things in the movies, things that you always notice. I was a little kid when I first put together on movies and TV shows that every time a character runs out of the house or the office and jumps in the car, it's obviously already started. You know what I mean? They jump in and just punch it. And I mean, I was 7 the first time I went, hey, how come they never have to find the keys and stick it in there and turn it over and then put it into... It's just ready to go every time.
Unless they're in a horror movie and the Axeman is coming to kill them.
That's exactly right.
And then they fumble for the keys and the car won't start. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like this text that just came in about things that are unrealistic in movies. In movies and TV shows, the cars are always too clean.
Oh, they are really clean.
Yeah. You don't see pet hair and receipts on the floorboards.
No, there's no garbage in the back seat. You don't have an empty drink sitting in the cup holder. It's freaky.
My place for like I'll get salted peanuts or a bag of my small little bits of trash. They all go in the passenger seat. On the back side of the passenger seat, there's that little pocket.
Okay.
For the person in the back seat to put a magazine like it's the 1960s.
I can see how that would work with your wingspan.
I'm driving, I just put it back there.
Yeah.
And then about every 3 days, I just pull all the stuff, whatever's accumulated.
Yeah.
Not every 3 days, every couple of weeks, I guess. Because it's, there'll be 4 or 5 things in there.
Yeah.
I do my part to keep it, somewhat clean. But then
the dad hack was always every time you fill up the gas tank, kiddo, take all of the garbage out and leave it at the gas station.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Jumping on a moving truck off a bridge, also on the text line. That's very true.
I want to try that so bad.
Always want to try it.
Yeah.
In that action vein, one that came to my mind, endless ammunition. They never reload.
Yeah.
They just can shoot and shoot. That's one thing that the Bourne series kind of got right, because the practicality stuff of that generally was in place. And I saw The Accountant too late, like a couple weeks ago, which was excellent, by the way. And they actually reloaded, which I thought was like, oh, that's refreshing. That's what made me think of it. But normally they don't. They just shoot.
There was also some reloading in a movie I watched over the weekend on Apple TV called The Gorge. And I started it, and I kept watching because it was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. It was the dumbest movie I've ever watched. It was so stupid, I had to see how it ended.
Who's in this movie?
The Chess Gambit, the Queen's Gambit girl.
Oh, okay.
And the dude from the drum movie.
Miles Teller.
Thank you. Whiplash.
Top Gun. Yeah.
Whiplash and Chess.
And Anya Taylor-Joy.
It's the dumbest conceit. The whole thing about it is so... It's so dumb. And the very end, spoiler, they just rip off the first Jason Bourne movie entirely.
Okay.
Like, I guess they're like, it's 22 years old. No one will remember. And I'm just watching it. I was fast forwarding, granted, through some of the scenes in the middle when you start to pick it up on it. But it's like, I just think to myself, how many people went, yeah, let's make that. Let's keep going.
You legit just sped watched it?
Hate watched it. The whole thing. I just was like, I can't.
You were just like fast forwarding through it?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't miss anything.
No, you're pot committed. You have
Ridiculous.
to finish it.
Good poker reference.
Completely insane. This text just in from, hey, Bob the Hummus Guy, our buddy Bob the Hummus Guy.
Oh, I'm so glad he texted in because I want to say a happy National Hummus Day to Bob.
Is it?
It's the only reason worth mentioning it is Bob is so freaking cool.
Yeah, right on. I love Bob the Hummus Guy's good people.
Yeah.
He just texted, just waking up. I missed the opening. Is Steve Gorman the new drummer for Foo Fighters? I wasn't gonna say this. I was gonna wait till the 9 o'clock hour.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not.
You could have dangled it a little longer.
It is funny because like on socials, people will DM me like, "Hey man, you gonna get that Foo Fighters gig?" And I'm like, "Do I look like I'm 30? Do I look like what am I jump roping all of a sudden?
Yeah.
That's not a gig. That's an endurance test.
What kind of stamina do you think Steve has?
That's a fitness test. I lay it back, man. I'm too far in the back of the groove. Not a chance. I couldn't play that stuff when I was young, much less now.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning on Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Good Monday morning. It is May 19th. Man, what a great summer that was. It was awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm looking forward to some football now. We're moving into the fall. I got an autumnal glow happening inside. I'm very excited. It is Monday morning. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I trust we did. I'm feeling Minnesota right now. Let's talk about some headlines, Paul Fletcher.
As you just mentioned, we just wrapped up a historic early season heat wave. Check this out. 149 total temperature records were set or equaled.
Good Lord.
In that week of May 9th through the 16th across the state. There were 75 record highs, 54 record warm overnight lows, and 5 were tied. Not only did it shatter temperature records across the state, but it also led to unusually dangerous fire conditions, spawning, of course, several large wildfires. Speaking of, quick update on those fires. Jenkins Creek fire remains 0% contained. The Camp House fire is at 31%, and Munger Shaw fire at 75%. By the way, I got clarification from Adam Urin. He's the editor at BringMeTheNews.com. Containment measures the control lines that have been placed around the wildfire.
Right.
Okay. So while the containment percentages aren't great, their suppression efforts, dumping water, et cetera, have been good. That's why it hasn't spread. We're still right around that 35,000 acre mark. So it's a bit of good news. You know what I mean? Finally up there.
We'll take it.
Minneapolis Public Schools once again offer free meals and snacks for kids this summer. Last week, the district announced it will provide food free of charge to families with children under the age of 18 between June 9th and August 29th. Children do not need to be enrolled in Minneapolis Public Schools to be eligible for the program. There's no sign-up required. In fact, the only requirement is the food must be eaten on site. They want to watch you eat it. Okay. The food will be available at more than 60 locations in Minneapolis, parks, recreation centers, etc. If you want specific sites and times, it can be found on the free Meals for Kids app. It's kind of a cool thing.
It's a very cool thing.
Former President Joe Biden was diagnosed with prostate cancer that has spread to the bone, his personal office has disclosed. Friday, a prostate nodule was found. Quote, while this represents a more aggressive form of the disease, the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management. The president and his family are reviewing treatment options with his physicians.
Okay.
Certainly hoping that he ends up, figuring that thing out. Apparently, it's a bad time to be a big-time rock drummer. Foo Fighters have fired their latest, Josh Freese, who took the place of Taylor Hawkins. The band hasn't given a reason to the public or to Josh, apparently, other than that they're going in a different direction. Josh expressed surprise on social media and said he'd never been fired from a band before. He also joked, quote, "Stay tuned for my top 10 possible reasons Josh got booted from the Foo Fighters list." So apparently he's having a little bit of fun with it, but we'll see if there's any drama that comes out of it down the road.
He's played with so many people over the years. I mean, he's one of the most hired drummers on the planet.
Give me a couple of examples. Who's he played with?
Devo, Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
Paul Westerberg.
Perfect Circle, The Vandals.
Many artists, both in studio and touring. He's constantly working. He posted on Instagram that he'd been fired. The first comment I saw was from Police drummer Stuart Copeland, who said, "This is great news for the other 5 bands you're in."
That's funny. Fair.
He's just really one of those guys. He is. I was actually surprised when they hired him because of that.
Because he's in so many bands?
I thought the Foo Fighters would go for somebody that would just be their guy, and maybe they knew he could show up and learn the songs and boom, turn it around and be great. Maybe they realized, I have no information at all, but I'm just thinking maybe they were like, yeah, we do just want our own guy. But whatever the reasoning, I will just say this. Everyone's assuming they're going to hire Taylor Hawkins' son, Shane, now that he's turned 18. Okay. Great drummer, played great at the Foo Fighters tribute shows for Taylor Hawkins. I am real dubious of that. It's weird. Don't ask an 18-year-old guy to join a band with a bunch of 60-year-olds. It's weird.
And by the way, the band that his dad was in.
Well, yeah.
I mean, but the Foo Fighters don't party like they're 60-year-olds.
It's just what 60-year-old musician wants to hang out with any 18-year-old? Wow. Much less his dear friend's son, who be an uncle, don't be a band leader. Sure. Dave. My 2 cents.
Okay.
Fair enough. Kenton Cool is a British mountain guide, and he has broken his own record by scaling Mount Everest for the 19th time, giving him the most ascents of the world's highest mountain for a non-Sherpa. He did it first in 2004 and has been doing it almost every year since then, except for 2014, 2015. Those climbing seasons were canceled due to tragic events. And then 2020, of course, the coronavirus pandemic. Only Nepali Sherpa guides have scaled the peak more times than him, with the highest number being 30 times by Cami Rita, who is also currently on the mountain and expected to make the climb in the next few days. So Kenton Cool is kind of a badass.
This is
19 times?
I looked it up.
16,
that's his real
19,
name.
19,
Kenton Cool. That's
really?
I thought after like a dozen Everest summits, he's like, I'm changing my name to Cool.
Yeah.
No, he's actually born that.
In it.
You got to live up to a name like Kenton Cool, and he's done it.
Yeah. He could change it to Kenton full-on badass at this point. Holy smokes, man. 19 times.
That's impressive. 92KQRS.com at 8 a.m. We will post all of the winners of the KQ's bestest poll that's been going on for the last few weeks. But we can sneak a few right past the goalie right now. We can share a few of our winners.
Sneaky.
Bestest Bloody Mary.
Oh.
To remind you, we had the Old Piper Inn, Bunny's Bar and Grill, Bennett's Chop and Row House, Brainerd VFW, Trail Stop Tavern, and Bunny's Bar and Grill in St. Louis Park.
Old Piper won it last year.
Okay, so, I mean, I'm sure they did well this time. You can't win them all. Bunny's Bar and Grill, St. Louis Park. That's the bestest Bloody Mary, apparently.
Really?
That's what they're telling me.
All right, I'll have to make a trip over there.
Bestest Minnesota beer to drink after mowing the yard. All right. Grain Belt Premium taking home the bacon. I love some Grain Belt. I'm into the premium. I like the Nordies. Do you really?
If I really have been working real hard and I'm looking for something extra light, I like an Elite.
Ooh, wow.
Hard to find.
I've made it clear I don't drink a ton of beer, but this lines up with the taste palette of a Grain Belt.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it just, I can see, like, I can close my eyes, can picture having one of those on a hot day after kicking ass in the yard.
Not winning, but what was on the list, Falling Knife Brewing, Tom's was on there, and I enjoy that. That's my recent discovery.
Oh, yeah, I love Falling Knife.
Yeah, working through that a lot.
We pop over there all the time. It's a great spot.
It is a great spot. How about this one? Bestest bar for karaoke. All right.
How did Jordan's Vegas Lounge do?
Number 1, baby.
Oh,
Vegas Lounge. Bingo.
Yes.
Right on. I did not vote on this one because I have no karaoke experience. And I don't mean just here locally. Ever.
You've never done it?
I think I did it once. And it was so fuzzy, I don't even remember where and when.
Was it solo or as like a group?
No, I went up. There was a time and it's I'm not making this up. It's like deep in the recesses of my mind, sometime in the 90s, at a bar, I was on a stage doing karaoke, and I can't even tell you who I was with, where I was, or what the song was. That's how drunk I had to be to do karaoke. Yeah.
Let alone remember what you sang or who was involved.
That's very true. As I said, 8 a.m., full list of winners at 92KQRS.com. It's getting to be, high school graduation season. All the college kids we know just graduated. Now we're a couple weeks away from high school kids moving on, which means it's senior prank time. High school senior class pranking. It's got to be just up and whipped up in a frenzy right now. 651-989-ROCK is a talk and text line. If you have a great prank in your past or one you did, one you were a part of, we'd love to hear about them because there are some doozies as we look back on our own high school graduation years and months and times. Let's hear about those pranks. 651-989-ROCK.
It's Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder, 92 KQRS.
With high school winding down the year, a bunch of people getting ready to graduate, the class of 25. That's so funny.
Right?
I mean, I can remember when one of my buddies' little sister, she wrote on her notebook, class of 89, and we laughed because we were like, 89? That's so far in the future. The class of 25. Do kids still do senior pranks? Are there still pranks in high schools? I mean, there's cameras everywhere. You can't get away with anything anymore.
Well, it seems like a good question for a teacher. So if you're out there, 651-989-ROCK. But I feel like, the fun police have probably shut a lot of these down.
Looking for great senior pranks. If you have one back in the old days, back in the pre-cameras or everywhere days, feel free to share. I do like this one that came in, and this is one I could still see happening now. I don't know how long ago this was, but a circle of kids gathered around two people, and then everybody in the circle starts going like, "Get him! Knock him out! Yeah, get him!"
Yeah.
Like, which immediately triggers in anybody's mind, "Oh my God, there's a fight!"
Right?
You know, kick his ass, get him, get him, and so kids from everywhere run over, and the ring of kids, it grows and grows, more and more animated.
Okay.
And of course, this got the headmaster, the principal of the school's attention, and he raced over there. And he works his way through the crowd, and what they're surrounding is two little kids playing chess. It was all a setup. They're just two little nerdy guys at a chessboard, and the crowd's acting as if it's a fight. No one got hurt, literally. That's good old-fashioned prank. That's a good one.
Yes, nice and crafty.
I like that one.
We got another text. This one boggles my mind. My computing teacher, he pretended to have a heart attack. Girls were screaming, and a few people cried. We were only 13 at the time.
The teacher did that?
What?
Yes.
Whoa.
My computing teacher, he pretended to have a heart attack.
Okay.
What?
That's a little dark.
That's a little dark.
That's
a little
messed
dark
up.
for sure.
Wow.
This was hardly an original idea, but a friend of mine, at a different school, a buddy of mine in college, when he was a senior at his high school, he and two friends, they did this is a classic, but they pulled it off for real. They had their entire school shut down for a whole day because they broke in overnight and they left 3 goats in the school. They brought in goats and they numbered them 1, 2, and 4. And left them. And so, they didn't invent this one, but it's a classic. And of course, what happens? The administrators, the janitor shows up at 6 a.m. He's like, "Oh, there's goat," and the goats are wreaking some bit of havoc.
Of course,
because they've been in the hallways all night. But then they immediately round up 3 goats, number 1, number 2, and number 4, and then they spend the entire day looking for number 3.
Do you know how they resolved it? Like how they came to the conclusion that 3 didn't exist?
They closed school, they canceled school for the day, and spent hours, and then finally just had to realize there's not another animal here. It's good stuff. 651-989-ROCK. Have you ever pulled off any of these? I love the ones. And again, I went to a really small school, so we couldn't get away with anything. You couldn't even cut a class.
How many kids were in your class?
My senior class was 12.
12?
12 seniors.
12
total.
dozen? Or 12 human beings?
2 of whom were foreign exchange students. So, I mean, it was now the average class was, there's no classes bigger than 25 in the school's history to this day.
Wow.
It's a very small school. But there was a big school. There's 2, the 2 big public schools in my hometown. the prank every year. It's always the kids in shop. Who are actually the smart ones.
Yes.
Disassembling a vehicle and all by parts, and then putting it together like in the school library. That was a staple in the 70s and 80s at Hopkinsville High School.
Would take forever.
Just one night with a bunch of motivated, smart guys from shop class.
I feel like they could be on the verge of failing out of school completely, and if you complete this one task, we'll just let you through.
So I just love the idea of the librarian opening the door, and there's a Ford Pinto in the library, completely assembled, or for the most part, as far as you could tell. With high school graduation coming, there's a lot of pranks going on at schools all over the country, or at least there would have been back in the day. I don't know about modern day high school pranking, because it's just so hard to get away with anything, right?
All right, enough fun and games.
That's exactly
I love
right.
That guy.
Enough fun and games. with everybody, these cameras are everywhere. You can't get away with a thing. This is a classic, though. There's a couple texts. This one freaks me out. The kids at a Christian private school in my hometown faked the rapture on one of their classmates once. It really freaked him out, apparently.
What?
That's pretty involved. That's not so much a senior prank. That's just like, let's just make fun of that new kid prank.
My goodness.
Long story short, I just like this one. It's a really, I can't read the whole thing, but essentially this: picking one teacher and adding a little bit of gas to their tank regularly, like a gallon every couple days, and so they're just spending their time blown away at the mileage they're getting. Like, man. My car's just, and then you stop.
On the Honda Civic.
Yeah, but just the idea of just like bring a gas can to school and just every couple days just add a gallon to the same tank, and then the person thinks they're just getting this amazing. I'm like, wow, I never need gas, and then eventually you stop. The problem with that is you probably don't get to see the person realize, but you're torturing somebody. They're questioning their sanity by the end of it. Mm-hmm. I like the good long cons.
We got a good one from Greg. He said, at Wyzetta, before my time, one of the seniors got a hold of the master key for all the locker combination locks on a Friday. Over the weekend, every lock was switched out. Monday morning, not a kid could get into his locker.
Wow.
Beautiful, and no one got hurt. That one's from Greg.
Man.
That's pretty genius.
Yeah,
and Wyzetta is not a small school. This took some time.
Has it always been massive?
I think it's always been pretty damn big. They got all that friggin' money.
Man, check this out. Here's a text. In January, we got together, bought our Super Soaker squirt guns, and went around in the evening and squirted all of the exterior doors on the school and let them freeze up. Nice. All the locks and handles, so they couldn't get into the building the next morning. They canceled school for the day. Very strong.
Genius.
That's what I'm talking about.
Only in Minnesota and only in the mid-90s.
Yeah, no, that's really strong.
All we did was toilet paper stuff. Like, we were so uncreative and lame. It's unbelievable.
Facebook page for KQRS. A lot of great answers there. Feel free to chime in there or the KQ Talk and text line 651-989-ROCK. There's no such thing as too many prank stories. Let's have them.
Oh, no. Yeah, all morning. Yes. Let's go.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Let's talk TV. Let's talk movies. Let's talk what's happening on your streamers. Neal Justin from the Star Trib's in. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen.
As I said, we need help. Our discernment is there's never enough highly recommended programs. So you watch a lot of this stuff. You take it all in. You do it for a living and as a fan.
Yeah, thank God.
So, yeah, no kidding.
They don't pay me enough to do it just for a living.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a curveball at you first. What is a highly recommended show or movie you've watched recently that you did not care for?
Oh boy,
what let you down?
I just finished watching 0 Day.
Okay,
this is a Robert De Niro TV series.
Where, right. Is that
hackers? Hackers are the big enemy.
Netflix, right?
It is on Netflix. Yep. Got a great cast. Robert De Niro, Connie Britton, Clark Gregg, Joan Allen. I mean, it's
Jesse,
a lot of
Jesse.
I always call it Mrs. Kristen Dunst. Jesse
right.
Plemons. Jesse Plemons.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a good cast.
Yeah, and it's it's a political thriller, but there wasn't a lot of thrills. I mean, the suspension of disbelief is pretty high.
Got it.
And when you're doing that kind of thing, you really need to have something original that keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Yep.
And that just didn't do it for me, but it's not terrible.
Yeah,
it's just with a cast like that, you expect it to be a little more exciting. But I will counter that with the series that I kind of liked that's getting some good buzz, and that's Your Friends and Neighbors with John Hamm.
Yeah.
And I think last time I was here, we talked about Breaking Bad being this fantastic series. And I think it's really opened the door for a lot more of those kind of sleazy protagonist series.
Sure.
We've seen more of them where the guy you're rooting for, maybe you shouldn't be rooting for.
Of course.
And this is a classic example. John Hamm plays some sort of trade dealer. I could never
Wall
quite
Street,
figure
Wall
out
Street
what
guy.
Yeah, the Wall Street. I don't know what they just deal with money. Right.
Yeah.
It looks excessively boring. But he gets fired from his job. His wife leaves him. He's a wreck. So he starts stealing from his neighbors' homes.
Oh, all right.
And
you know what? That should be the trailer right there. That's all I need to hear.
Well, it's a great
I'm
more
more
idea.
interested now that I have been.
It's a great, and if it had just stuck to that, it would have been fine.
Okay.
John Hamm sneaking around and stealing art and watches. I'll watch that.
Oh, heck yeah.
But then, of course, there's got to be a murder. There's got to be double crime. There's got to be these crazy affairs. It's got to be all pumped up.
The bar is so high, like for a show like this, especially if you're going to have an anti-hero show. If you want people to talk about him in the same breath as Walter White or Tony Soprano, you've got to have him in all these extraordinary circumstances. That's too bad.
Yeah, and you've got to fill in this case 9 hours. I mean, that is my pet peeve with a lot of these. I love this model that we've gone to with streaming services where there's only 9-10 episodes instead of 24.
Sure, of course.
I just went back and watched The Good Wife, the first season of The Good Wife. And it's great, but it's 24 episodes, 23 episodes.
Yep.
And that's a lot. And I think 8 to 12 is fine.
Sure.
But even in that case, 9 seemed like too much for this. Seemed like a lot of filler. Again, the Brits do it right. A lot of times their series are just six episodes, and they're jam-packed. And you always want to leave wanting a little bit.
Just going to say that.
Kind of like your show, Tom.
Thank you.
As many options as there are. Yeah. It's like, give me 6 great hours, and I won't wish I had more. I'll be happy because I think the number of shows I've started, and by the middle of the 3rd episode, I'll go, why did I stop watching? I don't even remember it. It's like they get my attention, and then if it doesn't maintain, and I look ahead and I'm like, I don't want to watch 10 more hours of this. It's like I'm all for short but high quality.
Yeah, and my problem is once I start, there's just a part of me that I guess I got to finish it. Yeah, and I just sort of agonize through it.
Yeah.
I wish I would quit more shows early on, but I've got it bad. I get a little addicted.
I get that way with movies. I'll hate watch a movie. I'll know 10 minutes in, but I'll be like, the more I despise it, the easier it is to watch. Because now I realize I'm just watching this to satisfy my itch of how dumb can this possibly be.
What's the last movie that happened to you with?
Just over the weekend, I said I watched a movie on Apple TV called The Gorge.
Oh.
And it was so ridiculous I couldn't stop watching it.
See, I wouldn't watch anything with that title in it.
Yeah.
Even with Miles Teller and Anya Joy Taylor?
Oh, Anya Joy Taylor, I might watch.
Miles Teller's pretty good.
Yeah.
You don't like him?
Well, I wouldn't watch a movie. I wouldn't watch it because Miles Teller is in it.
Okay, fair enough.
I wouldn't avoid it because of him. I have nothing against the man.
Fair enough.
Happy to see Sigourney Weaver early, but a wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
Hey,
terrible title.
I want to clarify one thing really quick because you said you followed up Zero Day with Your Friends and Neighbors. Were you saying that was a disappointment, or were you? Because
I'd say Zero Day was a disappointment. Your Friends and Neighbors.
Your Friends and Neighbors.
Fine.
Though. That one.
Yeah,
was?
I would recommend it. Okay. I mean, again. Is it Breaking Bad? No, nothing will ever be Breaking Bad. But it's pretty good.
I'm kind of sad. I think Zero Day was my suggestion to you the first time you were in.
Okay. Well, this is the last time I listen to you.
Hey, man.
I thought I'd try it once.
You're only as good as your recommendations, and right now I'm in a hole. Damn it.
I will say, and I know you guys have been talking about it on the show, the new Pee Wee Herman documentary comes out Friday. And I started watching it. I got an advanced screener. I'm about 40 minutes into it. It's good.
Right.
He sat for, I think they said 80 hours of interviews.
Ooh,
yeah.
And it must have been just a few months before he died. And they make it clear at the beginning that he knew he was dying, and the filmmakers didn't. They didn't know he was battling cancer. So from what I can tell, he lays it all out there. Now it starts going through his childhood, which is pretty fascinating. Mm-hmm. And he's a serious artist.
For sure.
And we see this so many times in pop culture. An actor, a performer will have an idea, and it'll take off. Mm-hmm. And they have no intention of that just being the only character they ever play.
Right.
I think of Pee Wee Herman. I think of Elvira.
I think
of Dame Edna. I'm sure none of these people thought that they would be trapped in that role for so long. And so it'll be interesting to see as the 2-hour or the 2-part documentary goes on, if he resented that, if he came to terms with that. Because, he did some other stuff, right?
Yeah.
But he's Pee Wee Herman. Nobody calls him Paul Rubens.
No.
Correct.
Nobody calls Elvira Cassandra Peterson or whatever her name is. And, you guys know about music, those one-hit wonder bands. You wonder those periods they go through where, Jesus, why did I ever write closing time?
Sure.
Why won't somebody pay attention to anything else I did? At what point do you embrace that, or do you never embrace it?
It's I guess it all comes down to what your true goals are. What do you really hope happens? What's most important to you? You can, if it turns into, it's just a good living. Hey, man, if they're dancing, I'll keep singing it. Or is it all about artistic expression? With someone like Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman, I would imagine that had to be incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, the kids show was great, really smart. The movie was huge, but I can totally see a guy who, he came out of Groundlings, right? He probably had half a dozen characters he was using at all times. And then I would imagine, I could see him thinking this is the least likely to catch on. I mean, I remember watching him on Young Comedians. HBO used to have that Young Comedian special. Right. First time I ever saw Pee Wee Herman. And it was hilarious, but it was so just, what the hell is that? And I have to imagine he was very surprised that just became the thing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he dealt with it once it did become the thing.
And is that on HBO?
It is.
Okay,
Yeah, we've talked about it a few times, and I know the other thing that's ahead of you is a lot of sadness. I think because it's definitely deep and incredibly emotional. At least that's what everything that we've read leading up to it, because we've been covering that thing quite a bit. We're pretty excited about it. So
and it's so fascinating, and it shows you how much times have changed. His big scandal, the thing that got him into trouble, was self-gratifying himself in a movie theater.
Yeah,
which, on the whole scope of things, seems so minor.
Yep.
Did it seem minor then? I don't know. It's
pretty outrageous back then. It was pretty outrageous back then. But wasn't it even
now
an
it's
adult
like,
theater?
Yeah. I mean, out of all the sins that we know about that people do, that seems like a slap on the wrist.
I mean, if you're at the AMC noon on a Saturday doing that, okay, that's
kids.
one thing.
Yeah.
But Saturday, some Saturday night, a seedy adult film.
I think because people thought of him as a guy with the kids show on Saturday morning, it was more that than if it had been anybody who wasn't playing a character like Pee Wee Herman.
That's a good
point. That
point.
probably would have been a very different thing.
But when he went on, it was either the MTV Video Music Awards or the Music Awards or something, and walked up on stage as Pee Wee Herman and said, "Hey, heard any good jokes lately?" That was one of the best comebacks of all time. Just hey, have you heard any good jokes lately?
That did it.
Yeah, and it was so good that you thought that would have put it to bed. But it didn't.
It didn't. No.
It hurt his career
for sure.
Till the end, and that seems awfully unfair.
We were laughing on Friday about the fact, or maybe it was today. I don't know. My brain's gone. But the fact that HBO is now back to HBO Max. They were they keep rebranding. They don't know what to call themselves. HBO is like the brand name HBO for years. It's Coca-Cola for TV.
Yeah, it's New Coke again. Yeah.
It's absolutely. But I mean, as far as you can't create that kind of brand equity. They had a 40-year run of just the top shelf. Their quality control's amazing. As a network, I don't think anybody could say they've had a run quite like HBO had.
No,
and then this new guy comes in, and they keep changing the name of the streamer, and it's just been so baffling to watch.
Well, it's funny. I mean, you're in the music business, so you understand this. If you put on a show and it flops, you're done. I mean, they cancel you, and you got to sit on the sidelines for a while.
Yeah.
Same with an artist. If you're an executive and you come in and you botch things up, you get a raise.
Yeah.
You get bumped upstairs or you get a nice parachute.
Yep.
To get out. It's just a different world. And I sometimes look at these astronomical salaries.
It's crazy.
And what do you do? I mean, somebody came in and bet their whole investment, the company's future on a name change that never made any sense. And that person is probably, got 8 beach houses somewhere and
sure he does.
Sitting back on a yacht somewhere.
Neal Justin from the Star Trib is on Gorman in the Morning with us. So what's around the corner that you're looking forward to? Anything that you've got it earmarked? Like, I'm definitely can't wait for this.
Oh, boy.
So many things.
Well, it's the summertime, so, it's a little bit quiet television-wise. But, the movies, this is the time for the summer blockbusters. And I got to tell you, I'm excited about the new Mission Impossible. Yeah. I mean, that is a franchise that has not made a bad film.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can say that about any other franchise. There's been some terrible Bond movies.
Oh, sure. For sure.
There's been...
there have been bad Marvel movies.
Yep. But that one just consistently works.
Right.
And no reason to believe, based on the trailers and based on Tom Cruise's... that's a weird guy, Tom Cruise.
Sure he is.
But I don't know... You can't think of many stars with his track record. I mean, it's just incredible. He loves movies. He puts his whole... I don't want to spend time with him, but I'll go see his movies anytime I can. Sure. And it'll be interesting to see what he does when the action movie, when he can't do that anymore. Yep. They're saying this is the last Mission Impossible. I'll believe it when I see it.
I always think it's funny when every now and again, someone will say, okay, Tom Cruise, his place in Hollywood history, he's clearly, he's been a made man for 40 years. But when you start talking about him in the all-time list of greatest careers, greatest this and that, but then they'll just say, like, by the way, this is what this actor looked like at 62. And then you compare Cruise to he still is doing all of his own stunts. He's still this driving force behind a huge slice of the industry at this point. And all of the other great, whoever your list of the greatest all time are, they were old men in their 60s, comparatively. He's still just this fountain of youth he's got. It's pretty incredible.
He looks like he's 40.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think one of the things, one of the reasons he's been so successful is he works with great directors. I can't think of anybody who's worked with as many different great directors. Kubrick, Coppola, Scorsese, Spielberg.
Michael Mann,
P.T. Anderson.
Yep.
I mean, John Woo, Brian De Palma. I mean, you name it. He's. I don't think anybody's stretched. I mean, how many leading men worked with Kubrick?
I have a default setting for really handsome movie stars where I'm going to be like, I don't like that guy. And then at some point I had to go like, he's just great.
He is.
And like to your point, I think he's
And I don't think he's a great actor. I mean, I think he's a good actor, but he's a great movie star.
He's a great movie star. That's exactly right. He's as good a movie star. Brad Pitt's nowhere near as good a movie star. He doesn't want to be. He's always saw himself as a character actor.
Yeah.
And as a producer, he's great production.
I know. I don't think people realize how many movies his production company has been behind. Even that series that was on HBO about the kid who kills his classmate. Stephen Graham. The name is escaping me.
The 4 episodes of British Adolescence.
Yeah, Adolescence. That's
Brad Pitt's company. Yeah.
Brad Pitt's company.
Incredible. All right, well, Neal, so summer movies we're talking about. So, okay, just one series that may have slipped through the cracks. Just give us one strong recommendation. Somebody's out there listening thinking, I got a little extra time this week. I'll fire something up. Any streamer, any genre, whatever. What's a show? I like... I recently saw a show called Terriers. Did you ever see that? It was one season.
Yeah.
Detective, buddy, private. It was one of those shows. Yeah. And I'd heard about it. It was just fun. It was easy to watch, but enjoyable. But I missed it in real time because most people did. What's something out there that is worth the time that didn't get the love it should have?
Season 2's been out for a while, but I'll go back and plug it again, especially after seeing Zero Day. And that's a show called The Diplomat. With, Kerry Russell.
Yeah.
And it's never gotten a lot of love. I think Kerry got a Golden Globe nomination. It was created by one of the writers for The West Wing.
Okay.
Which means she helped Aaron Sorkin out.
Yeah.
And so it's got that sort of Aaron Sorkin speak to it. It's not realistic dialogue. It's way too witty. It's way too smart.
No, I saw it. I enjoyed both seasons.
Yeah, I think it's terrific. It got a little bit ridiculous, as these series have to be to fill time.
Yeah.
But I think it's just really smart writing. I was a big West Wing fan. This is a bit darker version of The West Wing, but it's got that feel to it. You feel smarter when you watch it, which is rare on television.
She's great. And the guy that plays her husband,
I can't think of his name.
Rufus, whatever, that British actor, he's great in this
he's
too.
really good. And, they've got some West Wing. I think Allison Janney comes by in the second season. There's some winks to West Wing. That show was just never really discovered, and I highly recommend people check it out. It's on Netflix.
Right on. Neal, thanks for coming by,
Hey,
brother.
thanks, guys.
Always a pleasure.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning, Fletcher and Ryder on Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Good Monday morning. It is May the 19th. We're feeling Minnesota, which means we want to know what's happening in the world. Paul Fletcher, give me some headlines.
Minneapolis Public Schools will once again offer free meals and snacks for kids this summer. Last week, the district announced it will provide food free of charge to families with children under the age of 18 from June 9th to August 29th.
Okay.
Children do not need to be enrolled in Minneapolis Public Schools. That's an important distinction, I think, to be eligible for this program. There's no sign-up required whatsoever. They just ask that you eat the food on site. The food will be available at more than 60 locations in Minneapolis, parks, recreation centers, etc. Mm-hmm. If you do want specific sites or times, you can get an app called the Free Meal for Kids app. So that's just outstanding. That's community right there.
Very good.
Former President Joe Biden was diagnosed with prostate cancer that has spread to the bone. His personal office has disclosed Friday a prostate nodule was found. Quote, while this represents a more aggressive form of the disease, the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management. This is according to a statement. The president and his family are reviewing treatment options with his physicians, and obviously hoping for the best for him. Mm-hmm. Bruce Springsteen's biopic, Deliver Me from Nowhere. We've talked about it a bit. Focuses on his life during the making of his 1982 album, Nebraska. Scott Cooper is going to be directing, known for Crazy Heart, Black Mass, and others. I should say he has been directing because production started last October, and now we have a release date.
Wow.
October 24th of this year for Deliver Me from Nowhere, also known as My Birthday.
Well, happy early birthday.
Wow.
What a
Thanks
treat
so much.
for you.
Yeah, what a delightful release for my birthday.
You get to go watch the guy from the Bear act like the guy from Asbury Park. Right on.
Nice.
That's right.
Yeah.
Jeremy Allen White. Really looking forward to his portrayal. He's an awesome actor. And I just think it's cool that they did that on my birthday. I mean, that's so nice of them to choose that. Kenton Cool, a British mountain guide, has broken his own record by scaling Mount Everest for the 19th time. This gives him the most ascents of the world's highest mountain for a non-Sherpa. Mm-hmm. Cool first climbed Mount Everest in 2004 and has been doing it ever since, minus a couple of years. Only Nepali Sherpa guides have scaled the peak more times than him, with the highest number being 30 times by Cami Rita, who is also currently on the mountain right now and expected to make a climb in the next few days. So that'll go to 31.
I guess when they say, well, what is there to do if you've summited Everest? I guess the answer is just keep doing it.
Again and again
wow.
and again.
19 times.
Man, I would. So he missed 2 years because there were avalanches, and he missed 1 year because of COVID. I'd hate to be around him in the years that he can't do this. Something tells me he's not pleasant company when Everest is canceled.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Unbelievable.
That's pretty crazy. Almost as crazy as the Minnesota Twins winning 13 in a row.
Almost.
Which they did almost pull off. Well, no, they did have 13. They were going for 14 yesterday.
Yeah.
They lost to the to the Milwaukee Brewers 5-2. A game that was almost a little closer than that. When the game was 4-2 in the top of the eighth inning, Royce Lewis came up to bat, and he was attempting to hit his second home run of the game. And I say attempting. He did hit a home run, except that center fielder Jackson Chourio had other plans.
Fly ball left center. Chourio back, and he will lead. Betty caught it! Chourio brought it back!
Chourio brought it back. He literally did just that. His glove went up and over the wall, snagged a home run from Royce Lewis's bat, and brought it back in the glove for the out. Royce Lewis took his helmet off and paid tribute. The entire Brewers team, everybody. It was one of those catches where everybody, including the guy that got robbed, goes,
That
all
was
right,
pretty
dude.
damn good.
Pretty damn good.
Nice catch, pal.
So that would have tied the game. It did not. The Twins lost. First loss since May 2nd. You got to love that.
Jeez.
I mean, that's a heck of a streak.
Yeah.
Rocco Baldelli said after the game, an amazing run, one of the best 2-week spans of baseball I've ever been a part of in my life. Fantastic work. Enjoy the day-to-day, gentlemen, and then tomorrow let's get back on the horse. What do you say?
Yeah.
Minnesota Vikings are America's team, apparently.
What?
Second only to the Kansas City Chiefs for number of nationally televised games. And it starts right away. J.J. McCarthy, welcome to the big time. Monday Night Football for Week 1 at Chicago. J.J. McCarthy is an Illinois kid, grew up a Bears fan, so that's a great first start for him on Monday Night Football. Week 2, the Falcons come here for Sunday Night Football. That is a Michael Penix Jr., the quarterback, who last time J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix squared off, it was in a national championship game 2 seasons ago for Michigan over Washington. I like that result. Hopefully we get the same McCarthy victory this time. 2 straight games nationally televised, well, on the NFL Network anyway, in Europe, Dublin and London. They come back to host the Eagles. That's the Fox noon game that week. Then they go to L.A. in Week 8 to play Thursday Night Football on Amazon against the Chargers. Then Week 15 at Dallas. That's another Sunday night game. And then Christmas on Netflix versus the Lions. 7 national games. That's pretty impressive. It just goes to show that somebody is thinking the Vikings are going to be worth watching this year.
I guess so.
Maybe in that Dallas matchup, we can troll Dallas and tell them we are America's team.
But we would not be the first.
Lions are America's team this year.
It seems that way. The Cowboys have got no chance this season. They are just a grease fire upon a grease fire. The Minnesota Timberwolves tip off tomorrow night, 7:30. Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals against the OKC Thunder. The teams managed a 2-2 split during the regular season. Let's see. OKC, Oklahoma, like I'm talking about the Sooners. Oklahoma City Thunder won 68 games in the regular season. Now, the Nuggets did just pull them to 7, which was really impressive for the Nuggets, considering how thin that team was. OKC has been the best team since day 1 of the NBA season in the league. They are a heavy favorite to win this series. Minnesota, great run so far, and they have certainly earned their place. This ain't going to be no Wolves in 5 series, I can tell you that. If the Wolves do it, I think they would be best suited to do it in 6 because you don't want Game 7 in OKC. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be the defensive series of a lifetime. Neither team's going to be scoring a lot because both these teams play really, really exceptional D.
Okay, now that we're both in the central time zone, are we done with these ridiculously late tip-offs, or because it's Western Conference, we're still going to be stuck with some 9 o'clock BS?
Every game is 7:30 or better. If it goes to 7, that'll be a 7 p.m.
All right.
Every other game, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, all 7:30 p.m. So that's nice.
Watch a little bit of it. That's good.
That is very good. Maplewood, we're thinking of you. Glad to have you with us, Maplewood, Minnesota.
I didn't realize Maplewood's a really bizarrely shaped city.
Is that true?
I just happened to look it up on a map. It's like a big L.
Okay.
So it goes all the way down south of Woodbury, and then it goes north of North St. Paul because it's so bizarrely shaped.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to have to open up my map app now. Damn it.
Sorry.
I thought I had plans, and now I got to do this. Hey, the bestest, KQ's bestest that Minnesota has to offer, as chosen by you. The results are in. You can go to the website to check all of those results out, 92kqrs.com. Here's a few for you.
Okay.
Bestest bar for day drinking. My answer would be whichever one I'm in, generally speaking.
Fair.
But Charlie's on Pryor Lake.
Matt, I haven't been there, but I've been looking at pictures, and they've got this really cool outdoor patio on the lake, and it is on my to-do list for this summer.
I have been there. It's a 2-decker, and it's stunning, and you get the breeze off the lake. It's
really.
I could even sit guy that doesn't drink a lot, I could sit there and day drink. It's fantastic.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Awesome. That place is excellent.
Rocket right there. Charlie's. How about this one? I'm going to tread lightly.
Okay.
Best record store.
Let's give it to the Fetus because they won it fair and square, and Jim and Don are fantastic people.
Yes, nice. Well done, Ryder.
It sounded like she was reading a cue card, but we'll take it.
She recorded that at 4:15 a.m. this morning.
Do you think we need to give Ryder console her a little bit and give her one of those dreaded hugs?
No.
Okay.
No. Go. You feel free. Go ahead. Go hug that bear.
I
Let me
can
know
get
how it goes.
a hug from Mr. Ryder down in the valley when I head over there later this week.
Oh,
yeah,
all right. Perfect.
Now you're talking.
Yeah. No, they all get, the record community is pretty small. So
I know.
If you're a fan of vinyl, you should probably be making it to every freaking store in town
exactly
at some
right.
point.
We were at Cheapo Records over the weekend, in fact. Very cool.
Which Cheapo and Blaine?
No, downtown.
Oh, dude,
Uptown.
Cheapo and Blaine, killer CD selection. It's just like a warehouse.
The Uptown had a ton too. The Uptown had the other thing I noticed about the Uptown Cheapo is this wall of posters, like unbelievable. You name an artist that we play, they had, I bet you, 5, 6, 8 different variations on that artist. It's unbelievable.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for a good record store. My last real job, meaning, before I kind of was at a record store. And I did 88, 89, before I was just a full-time musician or then doing radio, which this is not a real job. But that was a real job. I had to be there on time. The store opened at noon, and I was late most days.
What?
That was a good time in my life. But I love nothing more. I walk into a record store and I'm just like, I don't even buy anything. Most times I don't buy a single thing, but I will spend hours just flipping through.
People.
Yeah, I mean, I just, it's one of those things. I just like it. It's like putting on a nice pair of slippers, baby.
Sorry, we did that at Cheapo. We didn't buy a thing.
Speaking of slipping on nice, comfortable shoes, how about Besta's Bowling Alley?
Great shoes.
Elsie's, my neighborhood, my neighborhood alley did not come away on top. It was Dracula's 32 Bowl. Wow, we talked about that last week.
Inver Grove Heights. They held on to their top spot. I think Elsie's did finish second.
All right.
I want to give a quick shout out to Patrick Strait of mncomedy.com. He put out that book. We talked to him about Acme Comedy Club.
Yep.
Submitted all of these kind of local comedians who are still doing club stuff and are on the rise. It was Greg Coldman, Wendy Mayberry, Trevor Anderson, and Maggie Ferris. And he said, you've had 3 of 4 on the show. And I said, we're going to make it 4 of 4. Nice. Maggie Ferris won and is coming in later this week.
Excellent.
So there we go.
Very nice. Perfect. That's how it should be. Go to 92KQRS if you want to see the entire list of winners. Thank you so much for all of your vote.
Tell you something else I'm not going to do. I'm not going to talk to these dang voice menus that businesses are having now. Hire a dang person. I called, I won't say the name, but it was a TV company, and called the number, and this voice goes, "Hi, thanks for calling TV. You're a valued customer. Let's get started. If you have a problem, just say what the problem is. For example, if you need service, just say service." My screen's snowy. I heard installation. Is that correct? No. And then I started thinking, thank God 911 doesn't work that way. Hi, thanks for calling 911. You're a valued customer. Let's get started. If you have an emergency, just say what the emergency is. For example, if you've been shot, say shot. My house is on fire. I heard stabbed. Have you been stabbed?
Bill Engvall right there. He's going to be at Treasure Island Event Center Friday, September the 5th. And if you would like to win tickets to see him, you can give it a shot by doing the following.
What?
Text the word SIGN, S-I-G-N, to 651-989-ROCK right now, and that will give you a chance to win tickets. Again, Bill Engvall, Friday, September 5th at the Island Event Center. Prize provided by Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Tickets are on sale, but again, text the word SIGN to 651-989-ROCK right now. The last word is the last word in the Oxford English Dictionary. That word is Ziziva.
Oh,
is that
Ziziva.
Is that a Z-Y word?
It's Z-Y-Z-Z-Y-V-A. Ziziva. And it is a tropical weevil, which is a member of the beetle family, a weevil found in South America. Ziziva.
Okay.
Interesting.
There you have it. There's your last word. Tomorrow on Gorman in the Morning, we're going to play WTF, Wisconsin, Texas, Florida.
Buddy.
I imagine we'll be doing that for tickets to something or other.
Something very cool, I'm sure.
Something very cool.
And as soon as the computer loads, I'll tell you.
And we're also going to be speaking with Jeremy Piven, an actor who's won some Golden Globes, got an Emmy or two, a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows. He's actually also a stand-up comedian. He'll be in town in June.
Oh, he is?
Jeremy Piven coming on the show tomorrow. What's happening next on this very radio station, Paul Fletcher?
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, obviously the best rock on the planet, but also I've got lots of free stuff. Tickets for Neal Justin. We were talking about Mission Impossible, the new flick.
Yeah.
I got passes for that.
Nice.
And I got tickets for Garbage at First Ave, which, I can't wait.
Very, very strong.
Gorman in the Morning is also Gorman on the go. Get the 92 KQRS app and stream live or catch the Gorman in the Morning podcast anytime. 92 KQRS.